Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. What I want to do today is to take a look at the Grand Prix, the 2023 Grand Prix competing watches. In other words, all the entries they have. And I'm going to put together what I consider my ideal collection from those watches. Now, the watch prices are all over the place, and so I'm not going to worry about watch prices. I'm not going to worry about resale value or popularity or anything like that. These are just watches that I like, and I'll tell you why I like them for different categories. Now, I put together 6 categories: sports, dress, travel, calendar, chronograph, and a daily driver. Now, I'm not a chronograph fan. In fact, I'm not really much of a calendar fan either. But I thought other people probably are, so I thought I'd better add those too. And what I found was sort of a very nice surprise, especially in the chronographs. So let's get started. Now, in category, the sports category used to be a category with fairly lower prices, and they still are today. If you look at the if you look at the sports watches, they're sort of the lower end in terms of price, with exceptions, and this is an exception in about every way I can think of. The Gronfeld 1969 Delta Works is, to me, a gorgeous watch, and to be honest with you, I'd never take this thing into a rough sport, okay? But for my kind of sport, I like to do about a 5K walk every day, and it's low impact, and with a rubber strap, when it gets hot and yucky, you're not going to mess up your strap. Whereas you would with an alligator strap or a leather strap. The watch itself, I think, is really just, it's a beautiful watch. It's a steel watch, 44.5, a little big, but that's, I could live with that. Back when I was younger, I used to play rugby and soccer and was a surfer. I'd never take this watch on any of those, but I sure love the watch. I mean, as a sports watch, for a light sports watch, for an old guy's sports watch, this is perfect. Now, this next one is the opposite. This is a dress watch. And this one is interesting in about 5 ways from Sunday. I really like this. This is by Rex Heppy. I don't know how to say that. Exhevdet Rex Heppy, and it's called a minute in inert. Fascinating watch. It's a platinum watch, and what happens is that the second hand down at 6 o'clock, and it's, you can see the thing. It runs for 58 seconds. And it has jumping minutes, and so when it hits 58 seconds, it stops, and the minute hand jumps to the next one, and then the second hand starts up again. It's a very interesting kind of watch. Now, why this one for a dress watch? Well, the color, first of all. I would probably get a little more formal looking band than that, something like a nice gator band or something other than that. The one they have there is fine, but it looks a little, I don't know, not quite right. I was described as classical and disruptive. I love that description of this watch. The reason, why would this be a dress watch? Well, like I said, the color and the shape, but a general sort of, it's nothing too noisy about it. And the minute inert is a wonderful discussion. For discussion. Hi, look at my watch. It does. It has a trick. Classical and disruptive. I think that is a good description of it. And again, these are my tastes. I don't know. I think other people might have a different idea of what would be a good dress watch. Now, a travel watch, there there used to be a travel watch category, and there are more of them, and there are a few that are dual time zones. This one, though, by Voutilanen and the Travel World Timer, I really liked a lot. First of all, it's 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour. So was the ones by Rex Heppy, and also the one by Gronfeld was 21,600. 3 hertz, the other ones are 2.5 hertz, and so is this one. Love the lower frequencies. Manual winding, something else I like. 60 hours power reserve, that's plenty. I'm not crazy about the cushion shape, but that's okay. What I really like about this watch, up at 12 o'clock, you can see there's a town where normally you would find Paris. This time there's a little town called Moutier, and this is where Voutilanen has his shop, his atelier. Then next to it is one which is usually Moscow, I think. This is Kimi, which is in Finland, and right across the bay from that in Sweden is a little town called Luleå, and it happens where my mom's grandfather's from. So I thought, oh well, Carrie Voutilanen and I have something in common. So why Kimi, Finland? Well, that's also I think that's Kari Voutilanen's hometown. But I really like this in the sense that this is very personal. If I made a watch, instead of Los Angeles, I'd have Santa Barbara. Instead of New York, I'd have Bloomfield. So that appeals to me a lot. There's just something about that. And for a travel watch, this is a travel watch too. That another thing I like about it, it doesn't look like a watch that someone's going to steal. Most people, I mean, if they know what a Voutilanen is, they probably would love to steal it. But it's sort of like, it's just not one that sticks out and says, steal me. Okay, moving right along. Now, this one was very hard for me, a calendar watch. One of the reasons a lot of people love calendar watches and all kinds of calendar watches. Not me, but still I thought, well, I'll have one anyway. And looking at the calendar watches that they're not, there's not a calendar category, where it's called calendar and astronomical, I think. Well, there's this Bovet 1822. I think it's like a $500,000 watch. And I thought, well, if I had to choose one of the group that they have in the 2023 Grand Prix, I guess this would be it. Because for a calendar, this is what it's got. It's got the hours, minutes, seconds, date, day, month, power reserve indicator, retrograde minutes, tourbillon, equation of time, special escapement, annual calendar, summer and winter equinox. I mean, this has got it all. This is a 1 watts collection. It runs at 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour, which I like a lot. Back in 2006, the watch that won was the complicated watch winner was the H. Moser et Company, called the Moser Perpetual 1, the caliber HMC 341. This is another one. I'm pretty sure it's 18,000 semi-oscillation per hour. Now that would be down in the right corner there. A little gold one is that would be my ideal calendar watch. They still have that movement today in a more modern version, but I like this one. It's very easy to reset the date, and if you have a perpetual calendar, I don't know how you'd get into the middle of it, but they had worked it out. It's really a nice watch. So, but in the meantime, the Bovet 1822. I have a Beauvais and I really like it. It's the 1930, but uh, for this one, as far as a calendar, my God, it's got so much going on. I wouldn't know where to look first. Now, I've mentioned on more than one occasion I'm not a chronograph fan. Why am I not a chronograph fan? Two reasons. One, they mess up the dial. He's got all of these things on the dial, and and the other thing is functions that I wouldn't use. Okay, I mean, that's that. However, in this group of watches, I found not one, not two, but three chronographs I'd really like to have, and let me show you what they are and explain each one. The Peterman Bedat chronograph Rattrapant, beside liking it because I love saying Rattrapant, is it's a very clean one. And Peterman Bedat, they do excellent work, but the price on this one, of course, is in the stratosphere. Something I think about, I think it's over $200,000. But it's a clean one, and I like it. Now, in the middle is one, the Singer Reimagined 1969 Chrono. And this watch is one that has the Agengraph movement in it, and I like it very much. And I'd love to have one. I think I'd probably want the H. Moser version in the Streamliner, but this is pretty close. I wouldn't mind it at all. Finally, the De Bethune DB8. Love this watch. It's a chronograph. But look how clean the dial is on that. That's been my big complaint, is messy dials on chronographs. And it's got a pusher in top of a mono pusher with a button on top of the crown. So those are, for a person who doesn't like chronographs, this 2023 batch of chronographs has some wonderful chronographs in it, and I found three I like for somebody who doesn't like chronographs. Now, finally, one of the ones that I had the most difficult deciding on was what I call the daily driver. My ideal daily driver is something like this. This is a FP Journe Chronomet Souvain. It's hand wound. It's a simple watch where you can see everything. It's got the other thing I like about it has a dual barrel in parallel, and in parallel, and then it has a power reserve indicator. I can glance at it. I know how much when it needs to be wound next, and I can see the time and everything else. That's the kind of watch I like, and my collection really reflects that. Including the one that our project, our Lyrique Etude #1. It's just a nice watch, hand wound, 3 hertz. Just what you want in a watch. This has a similar one, except it has so many things that I don't like. I was surprised that I liked it. First of all, it's 4 hertz, 28,800 semi-oscillations per hour. I do like manual winding. And then it has what they refer to as it's a silicon escapement. Okay. I don't like silicon hairsprings for a lot of reasons. The main reason is that you can adjust them like you can hairsprings made from traditional metals. Our transitional metals is what there's. The silicon is a metalloid. They're called metalloids, and I don't like that. Anyway, okay, so they have a silicon escapement wheel. The wheel is made of silicon Y to minimize magnetization. Okay, so they don't get magnetized. Is there anything you can do or can't do with that wheel that one made out of steel or made out of platinum or gold or anything else couldn't do? The answer is no. It works exactly the same, except it has no chance of being magnetized. Everything else uses transitional metals like titanium. The whole thing is made of titanium. I like this size, 38.7. 39 millimeters is nice. That's what my little week is. This one I think is 40, sort of the size that I like. And it's it's got, for everyday use, it's got a simple dial. Um, the It's easy to tell time, even though there is a very elaborate guilloche made out of titanium strips and the little stars or little gold dots that they have, and that's just sort of a nice thing. You look at the time, and oh boy. So it's got the crown up at 12 o'clock, so it's out of the way. So, you're going around, you bump into stuff, you're not going to hit the crown. And then what they call floating lugs, they serve almost like a bumper. Okay, so again, for an everyday watch, you're doing stuff and bump, and so the floating lugs serve somewhat as a bumper for that. And so these are some of the things. Now it has it's hand wound, and it's got a 6-day reserve, and it does that with dual barrels. And it's dual barrels, I believe, are in serial usually for a 6-day one. And especially running at 28,800 semi-oscillations per hour. So this to me would be a very nice daily driver, where to work every day, or just sort of doing what you're doing. This is, like I said, this is my ideal, and most of my watches, or a lot of my watches, are very much like this. They're sort of daily drivers that you do everything with. Okay, those are my choices for my taste, not for everybody's. I'd be really interested in what yours would be. On Saturdays, we have a discussion. I think our next one, I think we'll talk about some of the things that you would choose for the different kinds of functions that both go into a watch collection, and then also have some kind of what we call practical, nothing practical about watch collectors, I don't think. But I'd really like to hear your feedback on that. Let me know. This is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.